Hi, Nunakot. Wanju Wanju, our perspectives in Aboriginal education. Nalak, your Kulian Nyan, where Wangan, where Katajan. Nalak Kulbul Jeropan al Wajak Puja. Nunakatij Kulini, Budawan Nunakatij Nija. So Kaya is hello, Wanju Wanju, welcome. We come to sit and talk and learn on Wajak country. We will be learning as we go along, and later you will be understanding this. Hello, I'm Carolyn Crook, your unit coordinator and your tutor in some of the classes. We will also be joined by two highly esteemed tutors, Dr. Marianne McLaughlin and Dr. Cindy Solonek. This unit aims to develop or begin your journey in developing as culturally responsive teachers. Because it stretches across a wide range of, or I should say, all learning areas, and from early childhood through to primary and secondary, this unit is an introduction to perspectives and understandings about the historical context of colonisation and the impact this has had on Aboriginal people and in particular education. We will be looking at worldviews and society's attitudes towards Aboriginal people in order to understand these complexities. But first we need to start with looking at ourselves, our own worldviews, assumptions and attitudes, because we take these into the classroom and these impact greatly on the way in which we build relationships, the choices we make about our teaching and the strategies that we will develop, and even impact on the curriculum that we choose to teach. Two important things to know about the unit is it's just been redesigned from a 10-week unit to a 7-week unit because of being able to fit in with the 18-month accelerated version of the Master of Teach. However, it still requires the same amount of hours because it holds the same 6 credit units. To be able to do this, we have redesigned the unit into a flipped classroom, which means you have an online component which builds the knowledge, that's your readings, your knowledge building content, and then you have the face-to-face, which is the seminar, who we have invited guests from the Aboriginal education sectors in education, so Catholic Ed and in Department of Ed. And we also will have the workshops which then engage in what we have learned and what we have come to understand in our online workshop task. But I think to better understand this, I will take you on a little LMS tour and talk you through that. So we'll see you in a moment. And here we are again for a quick tour of LMS, which will help outline how the flipped classroom works as well. So make sure you have a tour yourself to familiarize yourselves with the layout of our LMS. Important parts, sections we're going to visit is like right now, is the unit outline, learning materials, and the ISE home and the assessment folder as well. So we're just going to look at the unit outline first, so that we can get an understanding of the unit outcomes and also an understanding of, or actually when, the assessments are due, because it's only 7 weeks, so we're quite compressed in time that way. So 4 outcomes: to articulate an awareness and knowledge and understanding of the impact of historical and cultural factors on education and development for Indigenous students, to critically reflect on own worldviews and perspectives in the context of Aboriginal education, analyse how culturally and educationally appropriate strategies can support Indigenous students' wellbeing and educational achievement that may be useful in teaching Indigenous students given a geographically and culturally defined situation. The phrase "may be useful in teaching" relates to the geographical and location and the culture of the students. So depending the region, the geographical region they are in or come from, the context and the culture can change as well. The fourth outcome is a developing one, and it's worded in such a way to give that understanding. So embed Indigenous perspectives into the curriculum based on understandings of context and pedagogies. So as your understanding grows, so does your ability to embed Indigenous perspectives into the curriculum. Well, let's scroll down to the assessments. Now, the section above assessments, that gives you the explanation of how the unit is designed and all the components that make up the unit. Oh, it's actually quite handy how we've landed on this page, because I can also emphasize that we have a field trip in week 7, and that's on Tuesday the 7th of April, and it's a cultural walk and talk by the Wally family. So you'll need to be able to make time to be able to come to that. I've made it on the same, on the same morning that we normally have our seminar, but we won't have a seminar that morning. We will be on the field trip. So you can see the time there, 8:30 till 10, and further information will be coming up when the registration details are posted. So let's go to our required assessments. So you have a group presentation and a reflective journal, which is broken into 2 parts. The group presentation, they run in weeks 4 to 7, and the reflective journal, part A, comes up fairly quickly in week 3, but should not be too onerous because it requires you to write your week 1 reflection and your week 2 reflection, and your week 1 and copy and paste in your week 1 discussion post and your week 2 discussion post. Part B then is due in week 7, and that has 3 general entries and the remainder of the discussion posts to be copied and pasted in. So let's see how the flipped learning works. So if we go to weekly learning materials, under learning materials, we've obviously got reminders of what to do to prep for week 1. But if you want to know how the flipped classroom works, you have an online independent learning component, and then the face-to-face components. So the online workshop preparation tasks is the independent learning component, and that has to be done prior to the workshop, because what you're able to do if you do your preparation is you then can engage actively in the workshop. So the workshops require you to apply knowledge, to synthesize, to critique, to evaluate, to reflect. If the online preparation hasn't been done, then those things cannot come to be. Well, let's have a look. So now part of the online prep is the review quiz, which we won't have one this week because it's a quiz for the previous week, and that's to help draw out some significant points that we can put from our short-term memory into our long-term memory. Plus, it helps us remember those points, because the seminars or the presentations actually, although they're aligned with the weeks, but they apply to all parts of the 7 weeks. Okay, online preparation. Here we go. Guided reading. So you can see in this first week, we've got some really short extracts and then some pages to read. What's important is using the question guide and writing your notes from that question guide, because you will be using those notes in your discussion board. Discussion board as well, but also your tasks to bring to class. Guided viewing has the same thing. You have your video to view and your question guide. So how does that come together? We put it together in a task. Sometimes it's drawing out information, sometimes it's a concept map, categorizing or finding relationships in information, and then that is brought to class so that you can engage in the workshop activities. If your online prep's not done, that means your engagement in the workshop activities is severely limited, and so is your understanding of the topics. So if you go away at the end of the week and you've only come to the workshop, you will have very large gaps in your learning and you'll have many questions about the content. So here's our discussion board I was talking about, or I kind of mentioned before. So all the instructions are here. It's about approximately 100 words you need to write, and then your question or your reflection piece is also written there. You then go and find your class, and you go click launch, click my thread. The question or the piece that you need to reflect on is written there again, and you all use this reply button. So don't use any other button to do your post, to bring up your post. You click this greeny blue button. And then this post is also then copy and pasted into your Word doc that has your journal entry in it as well. Or you can work the other way around. You can write a draft on the Word doc and copy and paste it into your discussion board. So let's have a look at the Indigenous Studies Essentials. This is the first action you need to do after reading your unit outline. And if we go here to home, if you don't know what to do, just go to home. And it says, I have not completed ISE, that'll take you to the quiz. I have completed ISE, that'll take you to the reflection. And this, just doing this as a recap or as new information, it just gives us a bit of a level starting place so that we have some common understandings when we come to class. So the assessment folder, I've set that up into a module format too, so then it's easy to find all the material and the explanation and all your assessment support. I'll also be uploading some videos, assessment guide videos during the week, and you could listen to those and flip through your assessment folders as well. And I think that might be the end. I just want to show you quickly unit readings. So if I go to the next clip, it actually doesn't take me anywhere because I'm in this student preview. But if you click on unit readings, it'll take you to the whole library of all the essential reading and viewing and the essential recommended reading and viewing. Did I say essential recommended reading and viewing? Well, essential reading and viewing and recommended reading and viewing. So the essential reading and viewing are all in your folders. That's your guided reading and guided viewing. And your recommended reading and viewing are really useful for your assessments, but they also provide you with breadth and depth of knowledge. And they are also very useful to take to practice and to school when you are a graduate. And don't forget to look at the websites that I have on your outline, your unit outline, and take those with you because those are very essential websites that I'm guaranteed you will use. If not in this unit for your assessments, you'll be using them in your teaching. And I would say that is all for now. See you on the other side. Hello again, and here we are after our tour. So I will see you on the 25th of Feb, next Tuesday at 9 a.m. at Fox Theatre. And remember, we have Dr. Richard Wally performing a Welcome to Country. Very, very, very excited about meeting you all, and also looking forward to meeting you personally in our classes. So bye for now.